Another batch of ale is up. I'd love to age it longer, but it's already so good. You won't find fresher anywhere.
Part 106 as we continue along here. Now, I did say we were leaving the Shiver Peaks, and that is absolutely true. That's not a lie. As Caraflower leaves now, though, I did want to take the time to come to this fairly remote packed camp and the nearby sanctuary. This one not sinking, with a ton more Conan on it that I think are really cool and just want to kind of show off to you all. So this guy was actually talking about the bruise that he's got right now. So yeah, that's as we travel back down to deal with the Priory's missing squad. Doesn't sound as important as getting tanks or naval support in the war, but we'll see. So anyway, very briefly here, we've got a scout talking about the area.
The Conan migrated south to escape Jormag's influence, and their sanctuary is taking a lot of damage. They're repairing it now, but for some reason the Dredge saw them as a threat and began harassing them. The Conan had a rough time. Any help you can offer would be appreciated.
The Dredge seem so nice sometimes, and so evil and blatantly horrible and miserable in others. Well, I mean, it's weird because they seem like the bad guys aggressing the Conan, but at the same time, the Conan to me, all it would take is a flip of a switch, and they would be quite, you know, a dangerous force on the world. I think actually, a lot of you guys in the comments have pointed out how cool it is that the Conan view themselves as so superior and high and mighty, and yet they're refugees. I feel like that day that dynamic changes and the Conan aren't refugees anymore, we could actually have quite a problem on our hands. You know, them considering they're moral arbiters of the world and they can enact whatever their vision of balance is.
Fiery drink in my belly and some hot stew. What more do I need?
How about good company?
Wait, are they like hitting on each other? They're actually moving together now. Amazing.
Things I'd put up with for the sake of duty.
With all that fur, I'm surprised you notice it enough to complain.
With all that muscle, I'm surprised you're so slow at killing ice brood.
Wow, yeah, this is kind of a funny thought that the Norn with no fur are more comfortable in the Shivers than Char with fur, but hey. Who I really want to speak to is this guy, who says, Sons of Svanir have captured and corrupted a Quaggan. Now it's rampaging around the area, so we actually saw some of those in the dungeon. But this agent here says, hello, adventurer, what brings you to Sky Heights Steading? And we say, I was wondering why the Pact built a camp here. Well, the Pact is interested in allying with the Conan, and this location is near the sanctuaries. As this camp's diplomat, I found it quite convenient. How did you become the diplomat? Well, the job fell to me after a mishap between the last diplomat and the Conan. Apparently, Conan don't take kindly to Char aggression, and it disrupts their balance. So you see, look, very easy conflicts between them. That's the second time we've heard in a short space of time that the Conan are not getting along with the Char. But yeah, so this is the camp itself. Where I really want to take us is just away from the camp. You'll see that there is a sanctuary that's parked up here. Parked, is that the right term? I find the sails and things and how they're affixed on so fascinating to think about. Actually a bear climbing around constructing that stuff. How would they turn this thing around though? It seems to only be able to go in one direction. Look at it, it's such an enormous thing, and they've just hit land, and you'll notice they're getting sieged. That's actually the Dredge doing that. Yeah, so we're gonna go up and see what these guys have got going on. There's a beautiful heart event there as we walk towards it in the moonlight. So you see as we walk through, there's a guard. He says, we must be ever vigilant. The local Dredge have become distressingly aggressive. They continually attempt to destroy our bridge. Are their attacks so serious? Quite serious indeed. They have powerful weapons, and if they overrun the bridge, our foothold on the coast is gone. The effort our shamans spend repairing the bridge is also a heavy burden. Okay, I'll be on the lookout. So yeah, there is actually an event where this bridge gets destroyed, I think. Over there is a massive Dredge complex. In fact, most of the southern corner of the map here, this huge area that leads, you know, down actually into earlier level stuff, is just an enormous Dredge facility that hopefully one day we'll actually get to see. It's not on the books for today. So, yeah, we'll move up, and you'll see this sanctuary is called Blue Ice Shining. We get these awesome ice tunnels, and the whole thing is, like, beautifully constructed. Not quite as big feeling as Honor of the Waves to me, but you don't get to really explore inside this one the same as you do with Honor of the Waves. You know, there's that thing about icebergs, right, that 3/4 of them exist below the surface of the water. So if you actually think about Conan living in cities in these hollowed out icebergs, a lot of them are below sea level in, you know, these enormous mammoth caverns and rooms. They're kind of a sewer-y in a weird way. Something that I think is quite easy to forget about and not think of. Anyway, so yeah, here we have the heart. Now, the objective is to speak with Conan about nature's balance, learn from scattered journals about what brought the Codan south, and pay homage to the shrines of Coda. So as we find various NPCs, not ones that offer services, they'll actually talk to us about their beliefs. And there's these journals here too. So we can read them. Every page in this book is leather, the words scraped into it with something sharp. I like to think it's a bear claw. I write this so others will remember. We fought Jormag, but the devastation was overwhelming. Our sanctuaries were sinking. Retreat was the only option. Blue Eyes Shining took the least damage, and we are making more rapid progress than the other sanctuaries. We'll be among the first to arrive in the southern lands. Fear breeds disorganization. We've arrived and hope to come aground safely so we can rescue others. It will be strange being on land. Look at this. These people live out in these seas. In a weird way, Jormag feels a bit like the deep sea dragon, right? In that it's just these big glacial seas out north. But they've been fighting it. They made an actual attempt on the dragon's life. Many died. Many sanctuaries sunk. These guys got here early, right? And I like to think of these ships as very slowly moving, right? Extremely slowly. And so, you know, maybe these guys got here like a decade before the others do. But eventually we'll find a lot more Codan arriving in the southern lands. And when they do, perhaps we can galvanize them into some assault north. That's if we survive Zaitan and everything else. Hey, a distant oracle.
Coda's blessings upon you.
We travel south on Blue Eyes Shining in search of more peaceful lands, not subject to Jormag's thrall. Can you teach me about balance? So we get a question. I can try. Bobbing along a turbulent sea is a small ice floe. A bird perches on it, working hard to maintain its footing, going so far as to peck the ice to make it less slippery. Is there balance? So we get three options. The sea is always in balance, isn't it? The ice floe seems like it must be pretty balanced, or the bird is keeping its footing, it's in balance, right? So I don't know about... I've talked about this online a few times over the years, okay? I feel like the way that this is designed and written is that that the entire logic of the Codan is arbitrary, right? I can see some semblance of balance in all three of these options and some semblance of imbalance in all of them. It just depends how broad your perspective is. And that's basically the Elder Dragon thing in a nutshell, right? If they're coming to balance the world and it's kind of chaotic for periods, but over a long enough term, the trend appears pretty stable, right? That's balance, but it depends on how your frame of reference is. And so it's all arbitrary. It's just what the Codan's frame of reference is. That's what each of these is going to demonstrate to us. However, when I've talked about this over the years, people have always come at me in comments and stuff and said, no, it's obvious. This one's the right one. This one's the right one. And I think if you do have a definitive answer in your mind about any of these, you're kind of missing the point of the beauty of the Codan story, okay? That balance is in the eye of the beholder, essentially. So what does Caraflower think? Well, I think she'd like to believe that the sea is always in balance. And we get this wrong, apparently. No, nothing is always in balance. The sea faces turbulence, and imbalance is the same thing. You must think deeper on the nature of balance and what it means. Okay, so apparently we're not a deep enough thinker, and we can try another option, but for the video, I'm actually going to say no here, and encourage you guys to try it out for yourselves.
Blessings upon you.
If I get it wrong. So we'll pretend there's some permanence here. Blue Ice represents the hope of the Codan. We are going to travel south and build a new home. Well, you've hit a wall here. Anyway, teach me about balance. Kekt defy the very nature of balance. Why is this? They're mean and nasty. They enslave other races. They think they're invincible. I'm going to say this last one. This seems the best. Correct. Balance affects us all. No one is immune. There may be hope for you yet, Silvari. Right. Thanks. I like how even as we respond, it's kind of pessimistic. Here's another journal. This journal has water stains, as if it were once immersed. Nevertheless, it is legible. The southern lands remain distant, and our food flees from the ice brood. Fortunately, this sanctuary flows with the currents more swiftly than others. We must not give up. Fishing is made doubly difficult at this speed. We alternate between fear of starvation and fear of the chaos we leave behind. Honestly, this is so exciting and, like, interesting to think about the northern lands. It's probably one of the coolest hearts in all of Guild Wars 2, which is why we're doing this extra section here on Caraflower's journey way back south, and she's got a long walk to meet up with these guys. It's so peaceful up here. The bends and arches break the wind and make it easy to hear Coda's voice. Don't you want company? It would be nice to share the spot with someone, but events have shifted our collective focus to more pressing matters. You and Soaring Spirit have many things in common, we say. Really? I'll introduce myself sometime. Right now, I need to gather my thoughts. Good luck, and I hope you two get something. Here, teach me about balance. We fight the dredge because they are disrupting balance. What is their primary form of disruption? Okay, that they use unnatural inventions to drill into the ground, that they look strange, or they burn fires in ice caves. It's probably this, right? As far as the Conan are concerned. There you go. Like, you can interpret their beliefs, but the point is that their beliefs are a sham, to me. That is correct. You obviously still don't grasp the profound nature of balance, but that was good for being so disadvantaged. Oh, look at them. Sneering, judgmental bears.
Change has blown us to a strange new world.
Coda smiles upon us with new challenges and fresh environs to observe.
So long as the challenges do not overcome us, the experience will be rich.
So here we're actually being sieged by the Dredge right now. This is actually one of the places. So we've got a guard's journal here. These words are carved onto what can only be bone tied together to form pages. Separated. I've been separated from my mate and my cubs, my sisters and my brothers. I choose to believe they made it to one of the other sanctuaries. An offering of bone to protect them and me from darkness and despair. Here we work as a group, and that alone keeps me from becoming a burden on the sanctuary. And we can close the book. And we'll do one more, and then we'll move on. Look at these guys perched out in the distance there. By the way, this entrance to this sanctuary, I believe, appeared on the very first Guild Wars 2 trailer, and it was suggestive that this was like Norn architecture, but it totally wasn't in the end. All right, so we got a guy called Relentless Uproar. A great storm looms upon the horizon. Please, we've got storms everywhere. Quite literally a storm in Ascalon with the friggin' brand. I don't see anything out of the ordinary, says Carraflower. No, you wouldn't. A storm of chaos and disorder approaches. Jormag's presence increases, and the balance is threatened. I really feel like at core, in a lot of ways, the devs were really setting up for some kind of big Jormag confrontation, and all that remains is for us to see whether that comes true. Teach me about balance. The seas roil and swell. Waves eventually erode the land. Is this an affront to balance? Yes, the land and life it sustains have been prematurely destroyed. No natural destruction is necessary for renewal and growth. I'm going to say this one. That is correct. The cycle of death and birth is natural. In order for new regions to emerge, others must be destroyed. As long as the process is natural, it is in balance. So there you go. I'm of the belief that there's no real correct answers about the Codan, but I think a lot of Guild Wars 2 players don't think very deeply about them whatsoever. They just think they'd be these cute things that we could play as. But I want to present the argument to you guys that they could be a force in the world that is not always progressive and positive in our minds as the players against the Elder Dragons, right? Yeah, we want to keep an eye on them as the story goes forwards. There's also these shrines that we can meditate at and just gives us flat heart progress. This entire sanctuary, by the way, can fall to outsider forces, seriously. And we can visit their voice for what it's worth as well to get a hero point. But there you have it. That's Blue Eye Shining. That's the highlights of Frostcorch Sound. Not even all of them. We've missed a facility. We've missed a ton of ice brood and dangerous stuff in the level 80 zones. We've missed a whole meta event. But let's head on south now until many days away the story could take us back. And it will. It will just be a while. So back here at Ren, let's remind ourselves what's going on as we scroll down. Well, we established a forward command post at Reflection Cove just nearby, and we've defended it. And now we've decided that there's 3 plans, and we're going to look into the Priory's investigations about a missing squad that on the surface doesn't sound very interesting, but apparently something big was going on with that squad, and the fact they're now missing could mean something serious. You'll notice that our objective is to meet Kekt. Kekt outside the Garden of Ilya. It's great to see him again. Kekt needs no introduction, I would hope. He's in so many story steps throughout the whole game. Most recently, we saw him doing a Delgamore excavation and recovering a lost tome that could potentially have been the Tome of the Rubicon. Unlike many of the other story steps at this juncture, if you go to find the missing scout squad, you actually only have to move a tiny bit to continue the story. It starts right here near Ren. So, hunters and prey. Oh, I forgot as well. I should have mentioned ages ago. Carraflower's had an upgrade, obviously, by the way. Check it out in her gear. She's looted the dungeon. Maybe that was clear to you guys already. I did want to talk about it, though. This is Conan Gear. Check it out. So if we have a look at our inventory here, we've cobbled together the best of the stuff that we've got so far. So check it out. The soul of Coda, the mantle of Coda, the arms of Coda. We've got our Claw Island keepsake equipped. Our backpack straps. Maybe we could put a backpack on that eventually. But yeah, and then Codan weapons as well. We've got the Codan axe, focus, and stuff. This is all from Honor of the Waves if we had been doing a lot of that dungeon and getting a ton of the currencies. I tried to dye it in a way that looks kind of Codan-y, but also isn't too crazy. I don't know, it's difficult because Carraflower is very, like, red and green, and I don't know how well that goes with whites and stuff, but there you have it. That's what we're wearing now. And this is the gear that she's going to take with her right into the conclusion of the game. Maybe we'll tweak some slight things, but yeah. All right, so, hey, Kekt, because she's done with dungeons now. It's good to see you, old buddy. Especially as a Priory member.
Sure, I'm glad to see you, Commander. Even with all these packed soldiers here, I'm scared. This place makes my ears twitch.
What did you expect from all? Be glad you're still alive to have twitchy ears. And tell the commander about our missing squad.
Wow, that's curt.
Sorry, Commander. Our best reconnaissance team is long overdue. We think they're still alive, but...
Of course they're alive. They've got Fergan. Finest tracker I've ever seen. And his survival skills are legendary. He'll keep that squad safe.
But we still need to find them. I can follow a trail. Fall in and let's start combing the area.
Huh. Well, some players at this point would recognize that Fergan and maybe might be excited to see that name. We as Caraflare have got certainly no idea about it. I'm sure it's of absolutely no consequence. But I do want to say here, guys, that this story set, we've seen the tanks, which was pretty goddamn cool. We've seen the naval stuff, which was pretty goddamn cool. In terms of the lore, all right, this is by far the most badass and exciting and cool thing that happens. Not just of the 3 options, but I believe almost of the entirety of the Orient storyline, stretching back to when we first got to Fort Trinity. What's about to be unveiled is awesome, okay? And this was the first one I actually ever did as a player, so I'm so excited to be able to talk about it here now. Hey, Kekt, it's been a while. Dwarven tomes and ruins are one thing, but this? My stomach can't handle it. It's a twisted worse than that time I braved the buffet table at General Togo's Cuisine in Lion's Arch. So, we spent a long time in LA. I don't think we ever saw this Chinese restaurant here, General Togo's Cuisine, but I do appreciate the reference to the great hero and master of the previous game. Stay close to me and you'll be fine, Kekt. Why did you never talk to me about this restaurant while we were still in that area of the world? Christ, we just passed through Lion's Arch to get back here. Fine. Anyway, locate the missing squad. We're going to move over here. And oh dear, they're dead.
This one's dead. Single arrow through the neck.
Clean kills? From the Risen? Our squad is in real trouble. We better move.
Oh dear. Clean kills. What does that mean? That the Risen have managed to capture someone who was able to cause clean kills? If they normally just bludgeon people. If a clean kill, does that mean that there's like a champion nearby, a particularly dangerous one? Well, here we got a Risen Crow. As we get close to it, it flies off. I love that little touch. And more bodies. So look, it's not just Priory scouts. There's Vigil here that are dead. And everyone at Ren here has been assassinated. Oh dear. It's a lot of bodies. So you can see that the Whispers agent there is actually stepping down to examine it. Well, our objective here is to search the Pact Fortress for clues. Well, what clues can we find?
Here's another one. Looks like the Risen just tore him apart.
No, the mutilation was post-mortem. Someone ran him through with his own sword first.
Okay, this whole mission is glitched. The squad's obviously dead. Can't we just go back?
Not until we find them all. I refuse to believe that Fergan just let these people die.
Well, but hold on. If Fergan's such a badass, could he not be responsible for this if he became the Risen? Kekt. Dwarven oh, okay, no, he still has the same dialogue. I was sure that he updated at this point. But yeah, so just a ton of bodies around. There's something about that combination of them being precise, like, assassinations, and also so many bodies that seem so freaky. Here, there's actually a single Sylvan Hound still alive. How sad is that? We should be able...
May the shadows embrace.
Oh, look, and somebody's actually hiding in the... Oh, my God, what is this? Wait. Is that the Whispers agent that's following us? Oh, okay. So it seems that these buildings don't have collision, which is funny. Oh, so the Sylvan Hound is just with us, is it? I thought it'd been left from the slaughter. Is it following us? No, it's definitely not following us. It's just sort of here. My God. Oh, look, and its master's dead. There's a Vigil Tactician down. Oh. Look, come here, doggy. It's okay. Look, I'm Sylvari too. I can... Oh, my God. That dog will be feeding back into the dream too. How sad is that? Alright, anyway, coming down here, we got another downed scholar.
We've got a live one! Arrows through both legs. He can't move, but he's breathing. It's okay. We got here in time. Hang on, and we'll get you home.
Oh. Run! Trev!
She's dead! Did you see that? We need to get out of here right now!
Calm down. Someone's toying with us, but we're not leaving without the rest of our squad.
Oh my god, this is actually a pretty freaky thing. So these are actually 2 queens. They're not actually ranked as like difficult enemies in the game, unfortunately. But this is quite an intimidating fight, right? Queens are dangerous. And they do love their spider jumps, don't they? They do love those moments. I'm realizing now that Caraflow's got a really weird mix of weapons and skills and things. We probably want to change that up, actually. But hopefully she'll be okay for now. God, the Explorer went down, but we can revive it. Let's get into Death Shroud and try and cleave these hatchlings out. There we go. Oh, wait. Yeah, there you go. He's dying. Brilliant. Okay.
That was easy.
All right, everyone, you okay? Good. Let's get going. So, keep moving north. We've got to head north to search for more survivors. We almost saved this guy. Arrows through both his legs. It's really grim. It's like a horror mission we're playing here, really. Oh, look, people are alive. Hey, guys.
You don't understand. He'll kill me. He'll kill us all.
Stop. Don't move. Just talk. What happened to your squad?
He's down. He's hunting us all down. He's still out there. Don't you see? We're not safe. Not from him. Not from...
Not from who?
Yeah!
And so here you see this guy just got sniped out. We're actually under sniper fire right now. My God. It says speak with the remaining surviving Crusader. Tell us what's going on. And crouch down, for Christ's sake.
Fergan. The Risen took him first. Made him one of them. After he turned, he started hunting us. He's unstoppable. A monster. I'm the only one left. If he gets me, you have to tell Traherne what we found. Tell him about the Searing Cauldron.
Zaitan's forces have a Searing Cauldron? Like the one that destroyed Ascalon?
That's right. Traherne must be told. But we'll never get out of here alive with Fergan on our trail. He won't...
He won't what? Come on, what won't Fergan do? What is wrong with you?
Oh, God, and she just got... What, was she corrupted already?
That's it. I'm getting out of here.
Kekt, stay with me! Don't split up!
Kekt, stop! He could be out there!
Yes, he could! Kekt! Kekt, you fool! I love how he has the tome on his back. Look, there's a trap!
Stay away! Someone help!
Oh my God. Once again in a cutscene, we're left to stand. So here's Risen Fergan. Let's keep him out of here. And pull back. Here's Kekt. He's down on the ground here and knocked the hell out. So let's try and interrupt this guy, keep him the hell away. And so, yeah, we were right. You know, I don't really consider that I spoiled the twist there. I think it's the kind of thing that players would think as they were playing this mission. Fergan, this badass Norn hunter, gets picked out by Zaitan. And this is a cool story, and it's one of those rare places that actually sort of shows the risk of sending high-level assets into Risen territory and having them corrupted and turned against you, right? We've heard about the implication of that a few times, but here we actually see that firsthand. So yeah, he's like a trap hunter ranger. He uses traps. He's got his bow, and he shoots us. Truth be told, this is actually one of the most disappointing moments in the whole personal story for me. In terms of Ludo narrative, in terms of the gameplay matching the story. This is a horror mission with a really big build-up to a final intense battle with the boss. And it's one of the most pathetic fights in the game. You know, there are several junctures throughout the story that I get disappointed by this stuff. As we go later into the series, I'll be more candid about that. This is definitely one of them. You know, we can just stand here and auto him, and it's a real shame.
No. My story can't end like this.
Oh, man, look at that. The Risen dialogue as they go down. Oof. My story can't end like this. Jesus. Well, it ended in tragedy, my friend. We don't know your backstory, really. But a pretty nasty way to go out, having killed a bunch of your own friends. Kekt, you good?
Oh, you did it. I thought I was a goner like the others, but you stopped him.
You're too important to die.
I've never seen one of the Risen act like that. We need to report this in right now. And not just this. Traherne needs to know about the cauldron, too.
And the cauldron, of course. What a story. Oh! Fergan! No!
Teach you a lesson.
Dun dun dun! Put down Fergan for good. Fergan kills Kekt! Oh my God, that actually goes so well there. Yeah, he just stands the hell back up and slays him. Seriously. So, funny story, if you are very quick off the mark, you can, like, fear and stop Fergan from landing the animation and actually save Kekt's life, but that doesn't actually change the story. That's just like a cheeky little bonus you can do Yes, the Norn, you think you've put him down. He's been acting he's like a super dangerous member of Zaitan's armies that we haven't seen act this way. And then Kekt dies! Oh, we saw him first so long ago. And the Tome of the Rubicon can't save him. Our old friend, our studier of the dwarves, I should say, is put down. Damn, and we're just left to leave. Basically, everyone gets annihilated in that mission. There's so much death at the end of the story. I think Kekt's death is the one that really rocked me when I first played because, as I said, this was one of the first story instances I'd done. And, yeah, it's truly painful. So, running with Fergan down as best we can do. I mean, what would you do as Caraflower fleeing away from this right now? Would you, like, try and burn the body or something? It would be so hard to tell, right? But with the Risen hot on our heels and alone now, we have to run away. What do we actually get out of that mission, aside from a lot of dead allies? Well, one thing, the knowledge that there was a Searing Cauldron. So, I like to think that, you know, the artifacts were getting shipped to the mouth, and then we sink the ship, and then they're all on the seafloor and all that stuff. I like to think that it was amongst those artifacts we realized, like, one of these cauldrons was being brought back, and Zaitan's trying to use it. The scouts find out, Fergan gets corrupted, and we only just slip by as the commander with this crucial detail. A Searing Cauldron, guys. Need I remind you how crazy dangerous these things are? The Searing blackened all of Ascalon, destroyed everything green about it for like decades afterwards, turned the water to tar, rained these massive crystals that are looking peculiarly similar to the brand down in the area. This was an extremely dangerous thing, a cataclysm all of its own that really sparked the beginning of the Guild Wars 1 story. And here we've found another one. So do you remember I said that Caraflower could, in theory, have done the Vigil stuff with the tanks, and then she would have seen the final fate of Tegwin. And Tyrix could have done this story. Well, now you can see why, because Tyrix would have learned more about the Searing Cauldron, and he's actually seen one of them. He's seen the one that's up in the Iron Marches and, like, interacted with it. So these two stories could have been swapped. But again, that's kind of the full story as to why I was considering that. Anyway, hey, Traherne.
Remain strong.
We've got big news, man. And this is so important, we have to come back to him.
Welcome back, Commander. Did you find the missing squad? They were on a mission of vital importance.
I did. They discovered that Zaitan's horde has obtained a Searing Cauldron, and that discovery cost them their lives. I'm tired of burying our best and bravest, but their sacrifice may be the key to victory. A weapon like that could change the course of the war.
It is imperative that we claim that cauldron before Zaitan's minions can employ it. I need you to lead a mission to get it. Head down to the airship dock. Pilot Gyreshriek is standing by, along with a state-of-the-art battlesuit. Larenthir's extraction team will follow you in. Use the suit to clear a path for them, and they'll rendezvous with you at the cauldron.
So, Larenthir, I don't think that Caraflower's met. Larenthir was actually one of those Sylvari in the Vigil Keep and doing a few of the Vigil missions that was kind of working alongside Almora. Often talked about how he had felt lonely in love, right? Yeah, we're going to be meeting him. And it's super cool how intense this suddenly is. You hear Searing Cauldron. Zaitan with a Searing Cauldron is a terrifying goddamn idea. So we immediately come back to the bigwig. None of the other stories have Traherne such a big thing again. Like, you can always tell there's that one really important option. He says, we've got to strike before Zaitan's army can deploy that Searing Cauldron. Anything I can do to speed you on your way? I do have some questions. I wouldn't want my second in command going unprepared. I'll be glad to answer any questions you have. All right, I'd like to know more about this Cauldron. He says it's a devastating magical weapon, similar to the one the Flame Legion used to go against Ascalon years ago. It creates flaming crystal boulders that fall from the sky, as well as a pyroclastic cloud. Where can I find it? It's currently in Ore. It's at the Cathedral of Zephyrs. We've got an airship ready to drop you into the target zone, and an advanced Golem battlesuit to aid you in your mission. Tell me more about the battlesuit. It's only a prototype, but its armor and weaponry are the best we've ever seen. Beam weapons, heavy artillery, hand-to-hand, the smoothest pilot golem interface we've ever designed. So yeah, as the Priory, it's all about gadgets in a way, and this is like the ultimate gadget we're going to be in here. Tell me about Larenthir. Loranthra of the Wild is the Vigil's second in command. Now, bear with it, guys. They haven't done a typo for a little while, or I've just not pointed them out. This one's going to be hard to ignore. He helped convince General Soulkeeper to turn her mission of vengeance into a mission of justice. He's a tremendous asset. So, this is actually a little bit of backstory to Loranthra that you don't really get while you're hanging out with him, but that he was there and he was so important and pivotal in really the creation of the Vigil altogether. I like the thought that Trahearne knows this fact as one of the firstborn, and Loranthra is secondborn, I believe. So maybe, you know, they communed in some way, they talked to one another over the years. Anyway, it would be quite recent, to be honest, because the Vigil is only 5 years old. He's a tremendous asset, I believe you. So cool. I'm ready to go, Marshall. What else do we want to say? He says, anything I can do to speed you on your way? And we're just going to say, I'm ready. I'll cut through the Cauldron's defenders like a scythe through wheat. It's cool to say that as a necromancer, to be honest. Particularly considering, you know, our staff auto attacks. We look like we have a scythe, right? And scythy stuff tends to creep into this class over the years. So, yeah, all right, brilliant. And that's the setup for the next mission. We start from Fort Trinity. Once again, get to go on the airship and fly it to a new destination, this time quite deep out into ore. It's so brilliant that this instance exists to me, because the entire time we're in these Orient maps, you can look up and you can see the airships around. There's clearly a whole world of story happening with those airships in the sky, but we don't get many opportunities to be on them, any really, until now. So here, join me next time, guys, for this instance, airdrop, where you will notice we are high above the skies, above the Cathedral of Zephyrs. We're gonna basically ODST drop down and pilot the most ridiculous golem skills you've ever seen. That'll be for next time in pursuit of the Searing Cauldron. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you very soon.